All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm here too.
I've just thrown myself, bro. I didn't do a countdown before I recorded. Do you know what I mean? I just dove straight in.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
I've just made it interesting for myself when doing the editing.
It's my approach to life.
What, just see
difficult now.
Yeah.
Much more difficult later.
Yeah. Well, it's fine now. Like, it's not a problem.
No, now it's fine. Now it's fine. You just do the episode.
But yeah, when you leave and I've got to edit the episode, it's going to be more interesting.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. It feels like it's been a while, bro.
It's been a while. How have you been?
Yeah, all right. We're down a couple of fluffy soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to desecrate that with some kind of like dirty joke.
No, because they were pure friends.
They were.
We'll just get that out of the way. Yeah, the reason genuinely we haven't been around for a couple of weeks is we both inextricably lost our cats on the same day, which sounds like a weird
Sounds
thing
like
to
some
say.
murder-suicide pact, but...
Yeah. But no, sadly, we both
Ours
had
was a little more planned.
Yes. I mean, definitely yours. Mine was...
Yours was not.
He was unwell, so we were expecting it to, like, wake up one day and he'd just passed away, bless him, but we sort of took matters into our own hands, which sounds dodgy, as you say.
Sounds like you went for the hammers.
But no, he was really poorly and suffering, just like your little Moggy.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, sadly, and we're just gonna start off with a little rippers. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. And I think it's important we did that. And do you know why? Because I think any casual listener or observer of this podcast, because we are on YouTube now, guys, and it feels a bit disgusting to do a shameless plug after that, but I'm rolling with it anyway.
You are so ready-made for the media.
Absolutely.
You are life in media.
And look, considering I've accused you of being the type to use me getting a terminal diagnosis as a...
I deliberately came in quite understated this week on the intro, because last episode, and we're going back a few weeks, I made a big thing about how I could carry on without you, and I don't think anything would change. And I thought, I don't want to do that this week.
I made sure I put that in the clip as well.
I thought, let's be
I wanted there
understated.
to be comments of people saying, like, he's absolutely right. Do you know what I mean?
Or he's lost his mind.
Yeah. But there was neither. So
there was neither.
We continue. But no, the reason I thought it was important for us to do that is because we quite often do these rippers for all sorts of people, and it could probably come across from an outsider that it isn't a genuine sign of respect, but it is our own way of, I guess, in our own respectful way of paying respects.
And I've said it to a few people this week, because I guess it's always one of those things when people lose pets, they expect you to be upset and then they expect you to get over it within a couple of days.
Yeah.
And even like if it's a dog, you get even a little bit longer than a cat for some reason. And then if you get,
because people prefer dogs in general.
And if it's like a hamster or a gerbil or something, forget it. You're meant to have got over it by the time you get to the car park.
Having been what I've been through, and look, I think we should talk about it, is before losing my cat that I'd had for 18 years, I genuinely didn't quite understand. I loved my cat. And I was beside myself when I lost him. But if I'd have gone back a year or two before he'd ever got unwell, I'd have probably judged people a little bit for being that upset losing a pet. But now I've been through it. But even so, if you told me you lost your pet gerbil,
what I wanted to say to you,
probably wouldn't feel anywhere near as bad.
Just like yourself, these cats had like quite exceptionally long lives for cats.
Yeah.
We got our cat first came into my life when I was 12. So apart from primary school,
so he was in his 20s then, wasn't he?
No. So he would have been 19 in about a month or so.
How old are you?
I'm 31, but he.
Oh right, yeah, sorry. So I'm assuming you're the same age as me.
So he was a kitten. We hadn't had him long when I had my 13th birthday, but we did have him. The fact is, apart from primary school, he's been there for he's been present for every single stage of my life. So it's a really odd thing to lose. It's not just him, and it's not just his spirit, for want of a better word, and who he was as like a cat and whatever, in the presence of it. But
and the thing is, it sounds wanky as you talk.
It's
about
a staple.
These things, doesn't it?
It's a fixed point through every stage of my life.
It's an ever stay in your life, isn't it? It's something a constant, something that's always there. And you afterwards, you sort of suddenly, it's the same as anything. When you lose someone or something, you realise just how much you appreciated it while it was there. But I think after a couple of days, the sadness turned to, quite frankly, a lot of gratitude. And I felt that at the time as well, because I felt lucky to, one, have a cat or a pet that I was close to and enjoyed for that length of time. And that's what shone through in the end for me, was just a level of gratitude that I was lucky enough to. And I'm also lucky we still got another cat. We got two. We got them both together. They were from the same litter, and they're both the same age. And the other one, you wouldn't know, was the same age as the one that's just passed. So we're lucky. We still got another cat, although he is a bit of a knobhead, if I'm being honest. Out of the two of them,
the one you'd miss the least.
Yeah. That sounds horrible, but it puts it into perspective when you lose the nice
good
cat.
One.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, but no, it's desperately sad. And yeah, it was weird because obviously I knew what day you were gonna have your cat put down. So the night before, I was like, I didn't want to bother you on the day. Just wanted to let you go through it. So I thought I'll text him the night before, just say I'll be thinking of you. And then on the day, I was just like, what are the fucking chances on the same day we both lose our cat?
We are inextricably linked.
We're linked in grief.
The universe has woven us together time and time again.
I think it's a sign.
I also think it's a sign.
What does it mean, though?
It's provocative.
Nobody knows what it means.
It gets the people going.
It does get the people. Pussy does get the people going.
It does.
Yeah. Sorry, that was too soon, wasn't it?
Depends. Did you say it or did Big Daddy Big say it?
The two.
Big Daddy Big can get away with it.
Do you know what I mean?
You, I feel like you've not quite earned that.
I think it's a bit like
gangster persona.
What I'm trying to do is a bit like Bruce Banner and the Hulk.
You're trying to merge them.
Yeah, it's too dangerous to have Big Daddy Big just
out of
unleash
control
now and again. Do you know what I mean?
He is out of control.
So there are moments where I blurt out with something or say something inappropriate, but I'm working.
You're trying to get that synergy.
Exactly.
That togetherness.
I want to be as amazing on the outside as I am on the inside. Do you know what I mean?
It's a message we can all
and
get
that
behind.
Needs to and look, it's a good time to talk about mental health, and you know, I want to get mine sorted, and I want to be a better me. So I have to get Big Daddy Big under control.
It's the biggest part of your personality.
Yeah, before I get in trouble.
I think it's already happened.
It could have. Like, my lawyers have told me I can't talk about it, particularly on the podcast. They specify
they're
don't
quite
talk
keen
about
on that
it on the podcast.
They're quite hot. You've got some good lawyers.
Well, they're experienced. They deal with this stuff
and they're good in law.
They know how to handle my dick.
You've got them. Do you know, like that? I would imagine how the lawyers would look like in like a ludicrous video or something. Like there's these smoking hotties coming out in like the tightest business suits, but they're carrying papers, so you know they're important.
Yeah.
And they've got glasses on, so you know they're smart.
I feel like more rappers should have their lawyer in a video, just randomly.
Just like
sat
actually
in the background,
some old white
work.
dude, I'd be up for that.
I've got this old white dude working for me now.
What was that? Was it a Louis Theroux documentary in America where he was interviewing? He was like doing the rap scene, and he was interviewing one rapper as like a subject of the documentary, and he was currently under investigation charges for I can't even remember what it was.
Yeah,
and he's in the room talking with him and his lawyer about this case, and the lawyer's like, "Can I just start by saying that I think this is a terrible idea, and the only reason I'm here is because I know he'd give the interview without me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be marginally better for me to be here." He's like, "But just from the off, dreadful idea. I don't agree with this." And the dude implicated himself like 3 times through the interview. And the lawyer's like, "No." He's like, "Just because this isn't court, okay?"
There is a reason why there's laws protecting yourself from self-incrimination. Do you know what I mean?
It's so good. The dude
it's
just
why
took
they
himself
insist upon you immediately. Don't talk to us,
because you just look in the background, and the lawyer. I think the lawyer may even say something to the effect of like, "I still get paid either way, and that's why I'm still here."
Have we ever talked about what we think about Louis Theroux? Because there's a lot of people who don't like him.
What? Who?
No, like I've heard people like they think he's like
it's fake.
Yeah, that it's manipulative. It's, do you know what I mean? This understated, sort of shy, but like
I'm sure he hams it up a little bit on camera because he's had the effectiveness over the years.
But I've seen a lot of him, and he seems genuinely quite an awkward or socially awkward man, and that just seems to have worked.
Yeah, so he rolls with it.
Yeah, but it just seems to have somehow catapulted him to.
I love Louis Theroux.
I don't mind. I mean, I'm not a massive fan. I don't have an issue.
His money don't jiggle.
That's been overdone now, though, hasn't it? But like,
what his
the one
attempt
thing
at
I'll
rap.
give him credit for is he doesn't seem to take himself overly seriously from
No.
what I've seen. But no, I've just seen a lot of online hate
Oh,
towards
man.
Louis Theroux.
This is the problem with the internet, though. Half the internet just hates anything and everything.
That is very true. Have you seen the recent stuff with Pedro Pascal, who by
Oh,
all
Mr.
I've ever
Fantastic.
yeah, which by the way, I am not mad with at all. One, because I just love Pedro Pascal. Anything
It's an
he's
interesting
in.
cast. I don't know the dude playing
I
Ben
like
Grimm.
Vanessa Kirby as well. She's.
And to be honest, I've only seen Joseph Quinn in one thing.
I don't even know who he is. I won't pretend I know
He's in
who
Stranger
the other two
Things.
are. I watched a couple of episodes of that, and
You would not have seen him. He's in a later series.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't. Do you like Stranger Things?
I do, yeah.
Okay. How far in do I need to get before I know what's going on?
I would say genuinely, if you watched the first 3 or 4 episodes and you didn't enjoy it, you probably won't enjoy it.
It just feels a bit slow. Do you know what I mean? A bit all over the place, and I don't know what's going on.
I mean, it picks up towards the end of
I
each
like
series
David
and
Harbour.
stuff, but
He's a good actor, but that's about all I can say about it, really.
I think it's one of those shows where like it gets grander and it gets bigger, but the essence of it sort of stays the same. So if you don't enjoy the first half of
I'll probably
series,
give it a miss.
you probably won't enjoy it.
That's fair.
I like to give an honest review. I like to try and be helpful.
No, I'd rather you be
balanced.
honest with me than me waste my time watching something I'm not going to enjoy. I think it might be one of those things because I know Leanne likes it. I might watch a bit of it with her now and again to see if I get into it. But to be honest, I don't really enjoy watching new stuff in general. It tends to be quite crap.
Yeah, I've taken to watching some new stuff, but I'll tell you what I watched recently, like very, very recently.
What's that?
And it got just an unfair amount of shit. The Marvels.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about it.
It's actually a fun movie. Like,
The
it's a
problem
perfectly
is,
good film.
I've not seen Captain Marvel and I've not seen Miss Marvel.
I don't think you need to enjoy the Marvels. Like, generally,
Because that's the
you
thing
don't.
that puts me off with Marvel in general at the moment. I'm so far behind on all
The
of
only thing is
TV
that you
stuff.
won't. The only thing is that you will benefit from having watched like Miss Marvel, because I think you get the journey of her family. Because she's one of the first superheroes where her family knows she's a superhero, and they're kind of cool with it, and they're a bit encouraging, but at the same time, they're parents.
Do you think it's a misogyny thing that it's not as popular?
100%. Like, I find it very hard to believe that it's not. I think it's not just a misogyny thing. I think
that's probably a part of, and it's not a conscious thing, why I've not watched Captain Marvel. And do you know what I mean? That's probably like a inner misogynist thing, isn't it?
And I think it's just like an anti-woke thing. I think it's a lot of people going, "Oh, you had to make a movie with women. Oh, you had to feature a black one and an Asian one." It's like, but it's
none of that actually
Can I
bothers
just say,
me.
by
Though.
the way,
I just
Aman Vellani is like the single greatest addition to the MCU. It's such strong casting.
okay.
Well,
I'll have to give it a watch at some point.
She's so fun.
Wasn't Miss Marvel a TV series? Though?
Miss Marvel is a
See,
TV series? That's her.
I miss just give me a movie. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's the Daredevil stuff and all that.
But
you
get
that back.
you
I'm
get
in for that, but
in the first like
I've
minute.
still not watched.
I've
watched the first season of Punisher. Yeah.
Well, in the first like minute and a half of the film, the Marvels, you get the essence of who Miss Marvel is. She is, and I'm not. This isn't spoilers or anything, but she is someone who obviously grew up with superheroes.
Yeah.
She absolutely idolizes Miss Marvel. She spends her time writing fan fiction, and
isn't that basically? I think I saw an interview with that's her in real life, though, isn't it?
Yeah, she's like a massive fan of the Marvel stuff, and she's grown up with it, and she's absolutely like obsessed with Miss Marvel, and she's like, writing fictions and stuff. There's even like one scene. It's like a bit of a wacky scene in the film. I'm not going to give anything away, but Monica Rambeau turns to Kamala Khan and says, she's like, "How many ideas for fan fiction has this just given you?" And she's like, "Oh my god, so many." It's just a really nice, fun thing.
Anything else?
It's a perfectly good film.
Is it a film? So it's not a series?
No, The Marvels is a film. Yeah, The Marvels is a film.
Oh, okay. So that okay.
Immediately you're back on board. You can invest in
a little bit.
You can invest in 2 hours of movies.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's nice as well because it has, like, the whole setup for it is actions having consequences from previous movies and stuff. Yeah. And you don't need to see those movies. They tell you.
Probably should watch Captain Marvel though, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it's all right. It's decent.
Yeah. And I like Brie Larson, so I don't really know why I haven't.
Yeah, she's good.
But it was like I never watched Wonder Woman. Do you know what I mean?
Wonder Woman was good. Wonder Woman 2, I've only seen a bit of, and it's not hooked me in.
No. So, yeah. No, I don't know what it is that I don't particularly watch. What other like female lead stuff has there been? I want to like prove I'm not.
It's not that. The problem is not a lot.
No, there is. But no. All right, fair enough. Is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a low-key misogynist. Did you see the shit online about Alexander the Great and Netflix? Did you see any of that?
I'm vaguely familiar
It really
with this.
made me laugh, man, because what people
Is
are
it them? Is it the queer thing?
Yeah. The fact that in the first 8 minutes he's kissing a man. And it's like,
You have to understand the historical context at the time.
he was in ancient Greece where it was normal as anything for men to sleep together. If anything, it was particularly for soldiers, it was encouraged to build a bond
like
and morale.
You don't have, you don't marry another man,
No.
but to have sex with another man,
Yeah.
perfectly okay.
Absolutely. Alexander the Great was famously bisexual by current standards, but it just seemed to really like. And the thing is, he's a fascinating character because, like, at 30, he controlled half of the world's population. So he's a fascinating figure, but like for some reason, people are uncomfortable with the fact he liked a bit of dick. Do you know what I mean? Just made me laugh.
Is that tying into what we've spoken about before as well, about the kind of the regressive nature, or particularly that breeds from online, about how we're going backwards in terms of
I think
gay
it definitely
rights.
shows also how we don't give a full story to stuff. Like me, I don't know how much stuff you've watched about Alexander the Great. He's a person of history that I've always been quite fascinated by, and I've always liked watching documentary stuff about him. And I'm fascinated by the archaeological work going on in Alexandria at the moment, where they've potentially discovered his royal palace and they're having to excavate it all by hand. So I'm fascinated by all of it.
Very cool.
But it shows that it's clearly not a message that's put out there that he was quite clearly a bisexual man, and that most men in those days were bisexual men.
Well, there's that story, and I cannot remember for the life of me which emperor it was, so I'll keep it vague. But there was an emperor who was having gay sex with a member of the Greek high society.
Yeah.
And it was a great scene, a great source of shame for all the Romans, simply for the fact that he was in the receiving role.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, no, you are the Roman, you should be the dominant. But the fact that it was dude on dude
was completely
just did not faze anyone. No. That was not a thing.
Well, again,
at all,
even in Roman times, it wasn't a weird thing for men to have sex with one another. So it's only nowadays that we're far more. But I think that must have been like a Victorian thing where it just became far more taboo.
Or a Catholic thing.
Oh, Christian yeah, that would make more sense. It'd be the Catholics. Yeah. I just think it's silly. Like I don't get why it bothers anyone, really, to be honest with you. So.
No, I mean, yeah. I'm in the same boat. And it's like, did you see that the park run story?
Park run story?
Last week or whatever it was.
I might have.
It's a trans thing.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about it.
It's such a good thing because it just shows that the internet is not the real world, and that like real world, whatever the media tell you you're interested in is not necessarily what we're all interested in.
No.
Because like the trans thing, so someone kicked up a fuss, like literally one person, I mean someone kicked up a fuss and said it's ridiculous that trans men times and trans women's times are in the men and women's categories on the website. You can, it logs and you tell you wait, but really, you're really only really competing with yourself. It's just a bit of fun. But they were like outraged. So the park run took down the thing, took down the times, took down the public thing, and then they were like, no, it's got nothing to do with this complaint. And it's like, well,
clearly
I think it does. But then they did a vox pop where they took a crew to a couple of park runs,
and no one was bothered in the slightest.
Everyone went. They went.
Isn't
it ridiculous?
So it's not even like it's the London Marathon or something. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Where people are running competitively, and it's like that.
Just shows you what it's about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they were like, literally everyone they interviewed just kind of went. It went the message ranged from, so what? It's only a bit of fun. You're only really competing against yourself. To people saying, I think. One woman even said, like, it's just ridiculous that we should be, park run is about making sport more inclusive. She said that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be going backwards and trying to put people off coming. The whole reason is that you can get anyone come down.
Yeah.
And then it cut back to the presenter or whatever. He's like, so as you can see, are clearly contested. And it's like, no, what interviews were you watching? How forced do you want to make this?
The tension is fever pitch.
And it was, and everyone's just like, yeah, cool, man. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Let love be love. Do you know what I mean? Do what you got to do.
And I think that's what it's like going back to the Alexander thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, for most people, we're just like...
do you, man? Honestly.
So what?
Yeah. It does make me wonder sometimes in general, like, how much of the outrage is actually real.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Because I don't actually know many people, if any, that if you really push them have an issue with anyone of trans, gay, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know anyone who would really have an issue with any of it. Do you know what I mean?
No, most people are pretty chill.
Yeah.
It's just a small group of online haters.
Or at most,
and the people in the media.
You might get the old cliche thing of like, don't rub it in my face or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You might get that. Or, do you know what I mean? Maybe with someone older. But in general, I
but
think
then obviously
most
you draw the
people-
line at what's rubbing it in someone's face.
Well,
Yeah, literally.
getting their knob out, I guess. Or their vag, respectively. Do you know what I mean?
It's all about it's all about no discrimination here.
Do you know what I mean?
You get whatever genitalia out you want.
Yeah.
What are you buying up?
And the other cat, he
Heard,
ran.
heard the talk of
Pussy.
pussy coming out.
Yeah.
It was like straight in.
I don't think he's even noticed the other one's gone.
No, absolutely no cares.
No. Like, just, if anything, I think he's just happy there's more food for him. Do you know what I mean? He's not having to share. Yeah. Also, the other weird thing that happened, like, today's been really weird. Like, at time of recording, it's been a really busy day, so it's sort of skewed, like, my measure of what's been going on when. And I don't remember when this came out, but the whole Greg Wallace thing.
Oh, last week,
What
whenever it
the
was.
fuck was that about? Tell the
Yeah.
people what happened, Jake.
I don't know which publication it was, the Sunday Times or something, but
like that.
they do this like occasional feature where they ask celebrities to run them through their Saturdays, like a typical Saturday.
Yeah.
So like Tom Hollander, by the way, is an actor who was also in the news recently for accidentally receiving a residual check meant for Tom Holland.
Oh, what, from like Spider-Man?
Yeah, and he was like, it was a sickening amount of money, and I've never ever seen a number
You
that
can
big.
only imagine. Because you forget about the residuals, don't you? All you think about is, oh, Tom Holland probably
Just
got
the payday.
Like, yeah. You forget about
But
that.
he did, yeah. Tom Hollander came out and was like, yeah, it was a sickening amount. Like,
Yeah,
I've
I
never
can
ever
imagine.
known numbers to go that high.
Yeah.
I like Tom Hollander. He's always come across really
What's
well.
he
And
been
he's a
in?
really good actor. So he was in. Did you ever watch that Night Home Manager,
No.
the Tom Hiddleston thing?
No.
He's in that. He played the main character in Rev, the sitcom
No.
thing. Rev. He's been around. He kind of just gets around.
I'm sure I've seen his face.
He's a really
Yeah.
good actor.
Oh, imagine. So was it addressed to Tom Hollander or was it?
I think it was addressed to Tom Holland,
Oh, that sucks.
and it somehow got out to him. Either way, it was
Yeah. Imagine. What out? Oh, no. Must have been a good, at least $100,000 or something in it for him to say a sickening amount.
I mean, I would think more.
Yeah, maybe a couple of mil.
Mate, I'm thinking mil. I'm
Yeah.
thinking millions.
Jesus. Tom Holland's blessed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Zendaya on one arm.
I mean, Spider-Man
fat off
costume
checks,
in the cupboard. And it's up to him whether he does more or not, basically, isn't it?
He's so rich, he doesn't even need all the money he's due.
And he was Billy Elliot when he was a kid. He got through that. Do you know what I mean?
He's in loads of stuff.
Yeah.
But Tom Hollander gave this interview, and he, in his interview, he basically said I wake up really early because I'm an old man and I need to pee a lot.
Okay.
He says, if my girlfriend's there, we cuddle. If she's not, I hold a pillow that smells like her. So then I go through I have some oats. So I wander through the neighbourhood where I'm now a local and everyone knows me.
Yeah.
Then he spends like a whole paragraph just listing locals that he knows. Then he says, I call my agent, and the conversation usually goes something like, oh, she's out again, is she? Oh, we'll tell her I called, please. Get her to call me back. He says, then I sort of spend the afternoon listening to the news and masturbating. And if an evening, if my girlfriend's there, we'll cuddle, and if not, I'll hold a pillow that smells like her.
That is so
for me,
accurate as well.
that's a good Saturday.
Yeah.
It's clearly he's not taking himself too
And the
seriously.
cuddling the pillow thing, for any man who really loves his woman, that is such
Yeah,
an
like
accurate
it is-
description
it
of what
is.
you do. No,
It
I
is a
like that.
comfort you seek.
But Greg Wallace had
But
quite
Greg
a
Wallace
different
has a
Saturday.
very different. I think Tom Holland has taken it very non-seriously,
Yeah.
and he's clearly given a fun take on it. Greg Wallace has gone to the line, to the letter.
Yeah, and really push the fact he's a health person now.
So please do interrupt me if I miss anything or I get something wrong, but I'm going to give it a go and walk you through it.
You go for it.
So he gets up and he likes to go to the gym before it opens. He's a very healthy man now. He exercises 5 days out of 7 and he walks 7,000 steps a day.
Early.
He makes them open up early so he can have the swim and the sauna to himself, or the gym and the sauna, whichever one it is.
Look, mate, you're not that big time. No one's bothering you at 6 in the morning. You don't need to be in there at 5:30.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to get in there quite early though, because a large part of his day is taken up later on, and we will get to.
Honestly,
we'll get to those.
If I ended up working in that gym, and on my first day, at my first morning
Greg Wallace
shift,
is standing outside.
I'm making that prick wait. Absolutely making him wait. Anyway, please continue with Greg's day.
Then he has breakfast. Checks his but before he even gets up, he checks his website, because he runs a very successful health website now. And his
it
podcast,
was the app, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's his app. He checks the numbers on his app, which he gives a little plug to.
Yeah.
Then he talks about how he's lost a load of weight, how he's 12 stone. He used to be like 18 stone, and how he's now got a 6-pack. He's got a 6-pack, but you can't see it because there's like a layer of fat over it.
I have the exact same problem, my guy.
And he calls it like we've all got a cross to bear, or whatever, a grudge to bear, or whatever the fuck he says. Then he goes for like a 3-hour breakfast at Harvester,
where he meets up with his
PA,
which is
Helen.
A rogue place to meet up with your PA.
That takes a lot. That's a long part of her Saturday.
Yeah,
spent putting
it's
up
quite
with.
Shitty, isn't it?
Because I'm not like, look, I realise the job's the job, but
and I guess
don't want
the rest of her day though.
Mate, I don't want to go and spend 2 hours with Greg Wallace anywhere, let alone every Saturday at Harvester.
Sad? Before this, I'm a big MasterChef fan.
So you probably thought he was all right.
I thought he was all right. This has ruined Greg Wallace for me.
Anyway, he gets home from breakfast about 10:30 till 12.
Yeah.
Then he gets home and he wants his wife to have lunch on the table.
You've just been Harvester, Mark.
She makes a couple of. I know. And how the hell is this guy? I can see where the layer of fat's come from.
Yeah.
I can see what your 6-pack's hidden.
In the Harvester.
So he likes her to have lunch. There's like a couple of favourites.
Yeah. By the way, Harvester breakfasts are shit.
I've never had one.
I like Harvesters, but their breakfast.
I've only ever been for dinner or lunch.
Yeah, no, don't.
Never done
a
breakfast. Is it shit?
It's awful, awful. It's just sad. You can tell they don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
They're
being
push.
forced to make it. We all want to be at home, and it's quite obvious. Do you know what I mean?
I get that vibe in a lot of restaurants.
And I don't blame them.
A lot of big chains.
But yeah, continue with
1:30 till 3. He spends time playing with his non-verbal autistic son,
that he clearly loves.
who he goes on to say in the interview that he didn't want a child. He only had one to make his wife happy, basically.
Yeah.
And he just comes out and says
his much younger wife.
So that's from 1:30 till 3. Then from 3 to 5, he considers himself an amateur historian, and he plays like one of those strategic games.
It was Total War.
Which means he spends half an hour more playing video games than he does with his son. That he doesn't want.
Look,
and all their memes.
If you didn't want the kid, why would you spend more time playing with the kid?
Did you see all those memes of like Greg Wallace at 3:01 when his son wants to play? And the Greg
throwing a kid out of a room.
The Greg Davis thing from the Inbetweeners when he's like, his son when he's like, "Daddy, can we play? For another 10 minutes?" He's like, "You can if you like, but I won't be there."
Yeah, the amount of time he set aside in his day for his
strategy games.
Yeah, and then for his poor non-verbal autistic son.
I mean, I'll come back to it because then in the evening, it's his turn to cook dinner.
Yeah.
Then in the evening, he says he reads a book and maybe watches a film, goes to bed. He said, and I quote, "I've tried to sit on the sofa watching TV eating biscuits. It's just not for me."
What sort of person have you
Phenomenal.
got to be to not be willing to eat biscuits on a sofa?
But I said, well, I might not have said to you, I think I just tweeted, it was like on Saturday, it was like, I don't know what to do with the fact that I know currently what Greg Wallace is doing, that he's currently ignoring his non-verbal autistic son.
Yeah. He's currently playing on his own in another room.
Yeah.
Yeah. While his dad,
it's a good
who doesn't want him, is sat killing non-existent people.
For me, I know they're like the two opposites, but when you compare that interview to the Tom Hollander interview, and they're both the same prompt. What's your typical Saturday? It's the same segment.
Very different reactions.
So different.
Yeah. Is Tom Hollander a comedian though?
No, he's an actor.
Okay.
But he's the kind of person I would want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Greg Wallace, I'm not while he's masturbating, just to be clear.
Well, like, look, I can pretend it's not happening.
You can look the other way.
I do it all the time when we're podcasting. Before we were on YouTube, it was just non-stop Jake compulsively wanking himself off.
I can't go more than half an hour without needing it.
No. And like, look, I get it. You're a virile man.
Where do you think my hands are now?
Yeah.
So can you see them both? No.
No, you just have a servant under the table now.
Butlers, the job's the job.
Yeah.
They were offered, it was the agency, it was agency work. They said you can either
wipe his arse or wank him off.
You can wank Jake off sort of every half hour, an hour throughout the day, or you can go and be Greg Wallace's PA. And they all, listen, the queue was lining up for me.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you're richer than Greg Wallace.
Poor Helen got stuck visiting the Harvester.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, listening to Greg moan about the son he doesn't want. I mean, I'm really leaning into this, by the way. Also, have you seen that? There's another interview he gave where he was like talking about his wife, and he's like, "They're like, oh, you're really happy now you've met your wife, and she's a bit younger than you. She's like 40, and he's like, yeah, but looks 20. Whoa, whatever."
Yeah, read the room, Greg. Oh, no.
Yes, there's the cat.
This is the cat that's still alive.
What's amazing is that Greg Wallace was what drew her in.
Honestly. No, don't do it.
I respect the hustle.
I might have to shut him out of the room.
No, I kind of respect it. I don't mind the cat being there.
No, but it's more if he keeps meowing. That's my issue.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
Okay.
I think he'll be
fine.
We'll
continue then.
Off Greg Wallace. What would your Saturday look like?
My Saturdays, if I'm off, it will be chilling with Leanne. We might go out and do something. Most of the time, we end up having a nap. We normally have either our bacon sandwiches in the morning, or or we order something in and chill out and go to sleep in the afternoon, and then that's it. Really, it's a very chilled Saturday usually.
Cool, I dig it.
What about you? Variations,
my man. So sometimes I'm at work.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm working at Palace.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm off,
yeah,
this is generally what it looks like. Get up, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Come back, watch the lunchtime game on telly. Okay, the cat might have to go.
Yeah,
the cat is now meowing.
Go. I told you, he's a knobhead.
Do you want me to keep going through my Saturday while you
keep going through your Saturday while I remove the cat?
Where was I? Watching the lunchtime kickoff? Yeah. Sadly, that's no longer part of my routine. And that is sad. But so 12:30, watching the kickoff. Then after that, I'll probably have some lunch, maybe at the halfway stage. Try and have something a bit healthier, if I can. Because Sunday's my cheat day, as well you know. So from then, probably watch the Soccer Saturday with Simon Thomas and the boys.
Okay.
No longer Jeff and the boys.
Oh, is it Simon Thomas now?
It's Simon Thomas now.
He's back working for Sky.
It's like a new crop. And then from there, I kind of I'll get up and I'll do things. I can't just sit down and watch something for a long period of time. I have to get up and move.
That sounds about right.
Then I'll watch the 5:30 kickoff. Again, I'll have to get up and move. I usually go for a shave at halftime or something.
Yeah.
Then it's dinner and thing, and that's if I'm doing. Otherwise, sometimes I go out, sometimes I do stuff.
Yeah.
I tend to get it all done. I tend to get everything done.
You do loads of stuff. I never know what you're up to.
Even I don't know what I'm up to. I have so many reminders on my phone.
No. Do you want something quite sad, random, and funny? What? Because
sure.
We're not really.
You promised it.
So we mentioned on the pod a little while ago that we contacted Liquid Death about sponsorship. Do you remember?
Did they respond?
I managed, you're not going to believe this, to somehow get an email for someone on their sponsorship or for their sponsorship team.
Wow.
And then I got a response from the head of
this is going to be sad and funny and depressing. I get it. Go.
I'm going to have to find it on the email. I did take a screenshot.
Do you want me to pad?
No, it's fine. It'll only take a second. Here we go.
Title of your sex tape, by the way.
What was that?
Title of your sex tape.
What's the title of my sex tape?
It'll only take a second.
So I emailed Liquid Death basically being like, look guys, you
You need us.
Do you know what I mean? And I even, like, this is how sad it is. I was like, we'll even say you've sponsored an episode for, like, a box of water. Do you know what I mean? Like, just send us a crate of water and we'll say Liquid Death sponsored
that's
us.
amazing.
This was their response.
Oh, man. This is going to be good.
Hi there. Thanks for reaching out. Unfortunately, we won't be able to support your podcast. Please understand this has nothing to do with your podcast.
Wow.
And everything to do with our commitments in 2024. All the best and thanks again for thinking of LD. And I won't say the person's name, but their job title was Director of Cult Indoctrination Europe.
Wow.
So yeah, we got officially rejected, and I respect it.
But it has nothing to do with the podcast.
Apparently not. It was it's not you, it's us. So it's not.
Yeah,
you,
we got that. We got the "It's not you, it's me" speech.
Yeah, from Liquid Death,
and they called themselves LD.
Yeah, he couldn't even be bothered to type out the name of the company.
I'm not sure what's sadder, the fact that this is a real low point for us, or the fact that it's also a high point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% going to clip it. We're going to put it out. We're going to tag them. It's going to go on every.
Oh, they get the fucking free publicity.
Well, yeah, because we're doing it off.
Fucking
is that all we're
motivation?
referring to them as now as LD?
That's the one. That's the name they chose.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 2024. If someone tells you what they want to be called, you roll with it.
And do you know how I genuinely, I think I put into Twitter Liquid Death, right? And a random post came up that said, here's the email for their sponsorship team from someone random.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to see if this works. And genuinely,
it did.
It did. But yeah, quite sad that they wouldn't even send us like a free crate of, not even a free can of water. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty rude.
I mean, it came from like somewhere fancier, didn't it? The water.
It might have. It came from America at the very least.
Or was it American water? No, it was like Alpine water that had gone over to America to be canned up. And
yeah,
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch us try that though.
Yeah, the thing is, I even tried to find the clip of us trying it to send to them, and I then couldn't find the clip.
Shameful. Do you know who's got it somewhere?
Who?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, you never came to me, did you?
Yeah, I should have.
Never reached out.
But I think this could be a new
Do you know what
segment of the pod, though, that every now and again...
We just read rejection letters.
We reach out to... My next stop is Manscaped.
Do you know what come up, though? So, I've been researching Venice.
Okay.
And doing, like, the Venetian walking tour and stuff.
Okay.
And for me, the Rialto Bridge, incredible piece of history.
Yeah.
And I can tell you so much about it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can tell you so much about it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it.
No.
But I can. Just know that, okay?
Yeah.
I know. But for me, it will always have a very special moment in my history, in my life.
Oh, when you recorded a video.
Because I remember being in Florence with me, Alex, and Ash. And Ash just looks up and goes, "Oh, Crossing Swords have posted a video." And I was very confused because I was like,
"You're half of Crossing Swords.
I'm 50% of Crossing Swords." And I'm sat here in the bedroom with you. I've been with you since Athens. We went Rome, pizza, Florence, Naples. Like, and I'm not aware of this.
No.
And it was just you taking it on your back to do a video.
I don't even remember what I posted.
But, you know, what's clear is that in all the time that we've been doing this, your MO is still the same.
What's that?
To just do shit without telling me.
It's far easier to ask for forgiveness than
it is permission. But I just remember responding by posting a video filmed at the Rialto Bridge. Yeah.
But look, to be honest, that led to a fantastic bit of content. Do you know what I mean?
It was good.
And this, emailing, making a tit of ourselves.
It's good content.
But yeah, if you'd rather I didn't email these
it was just, I'm not going to lie, that was at the absolute peak. Was that just that memory of Ash telling me?
I don't even remember what
released a
I think
video.
I did it like jokingly slagging you off, didn't I? That was like,
I can't remember. Yeah, you're off on the world,
again. Yeah. And then you responded with, "I'm working tirelessly."
Yeah.
Standing on a Venetian bridge.
Well, I was standing on the side of the canal. I was standing on the side of the Grand Canal. I didn't actually go on the bridge. Right, well, I did go on the bridge, but not
in the video.
Not in the video.
No. If I remember correctly, you were wearing a turkey shirt.
I have absolutely no recollection of what I was wearing.
That doesn't shock me. But yeah, so we've done Greg Wallace. We've done Screw You, Liquid Death.
LD.
I'm just looking at the time roughly so I know when the clip will be. What? Jake, a really sad thing happened as well. I think it's a disgrace, actually. they knocked down the spa.
Is this the Captain Moore?
Captain Tom spa has gone.
Absolute disgrace.
Like,
all that man wanted to do was chill in a sauna.
he walked all that way.
All that man's daughter wanted to do was chill in a sauna.
I still maintain we have no evidence it's not what he wanted, that it wasn't his plan all along.
I would say anything he signed was signed
I reckon
against
during
his will.
COVID, his daughter was like, we could all do with a sauna and a swimming pool. And he was like, I've got an idea.
I reckon that she was like, sign the paper, old man.
Look, you could argue that, I'm sure. But I prefer to live in my world where Captain Tom was just an absolute legend that wanted a swimming pool.
Took him to the Caribbean to get killed off.
Is that what happened?
Everyone in the plane coughing on him. She was like, come on.
Did he die of COVID?
Go and shake hands with everyone.
Did he die of the vid?
I actually don't know what he died of. Shall I look it up?
Do it. Shall I ask Siri?
Yeah, go on, ask Siri.
Hey Siri. Would help if I didn't lock my phone as I did that. Hey Siri. What did Captain Tom die of?
Okay, I found this on the web for what did Captain Tom die of. Check it out.
COVID.
Fucking knew it, son of a bitch.
Did you like the little? I got Siri.
Yeah, no, I
on
liked
there.
it. She set up a meet and greet in the fucking like COVID ward. I'm telling you.
Look, I'm just saying.
She was like, we've raised all that money and it's sitting in this motherfucker's account.
That man was a war hero, and you're claiming he was too weak to handle his shit. Do you know what I mean?
I am claiming he was too weak to handle his shit.
I'm claiming he died a hero
I was the
only
one that never really got... Well, I wasn't the only one, but I was one of the only few
totally
that
didn't understand.
Never got the Captain Tom thing. When he was walking around his garden, everyone was like, it's so beautiful, he did it for the... It's like, all that means is he's got a big fucking garden. Like, if he wants to raise money for the NHS and make a real difference, like, downsize, man. Sell some of that shit off. I'm not saying he should have to.
Pay private.
He shouldn't have to raise money for the NHS. We should be funding it properly.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it either. I mean, like, it was a nice thing to do from his aspect. I mean, it's really sad to find out that it was pretty much all against his will. But, like, why didn't he stop walking? Do you know what I mean?
He knew what happened.
Oh, do you reckon
he knew what would happen if he stopped walking?
That makes me sad. No, I prefer to live in my world where he was perfectly on board with every single aspect. But, yeah. Have you got anything you want to talk about, bro?
We're not going to rip us the spa.
Well, we absolutely...
No, you don't.
Oh, it's too late. Not to Captain Tom.
It's gone to the big spa in the sky.
Yeah.
The little spa in the garden, the big spa in the sky.
And no one got to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's just sad.
Although arguably all the haters got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed it.
What, having it torn down?
I enjoyed it.
I bet you didn't even know it had been torn down.
I didn't know it had been torn down. I knew they'd had to tear it down and they'd been given till like the end of February to do it.
Yeah.
But shouldn't have built it, should they?
I mean, technically, no, but look, even you've said...
They followed your motto, though.
No, they followed your motto. I just pick and choose what laws I listen to.
They followed yours of it's easier to ask for forgiveness.
And they followed yours of I'm just going to choose what laws I follow.
Look how that's worked out for them. See, what they did was I do what I do very well.
Yeah.
And you do what you do very well.
That's true.
They can't handle both of us.
No.
They can't pick and choose from us.
I've got to admit, as soon as I found out his daughter was a marketing exec, I was like, oh, no.
Because they're always such upstanding guys.
I was like, oh, no.
It's an industry filled with some of the best, nicest, most purest people.
No one cutthroat whatsoever.
There's always good intentions behind everything they do.
No. Poor Captain Tom. But yeah, the spa's gone. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
There is something I'd like to talk about.
Please.
I'd like to talk about Free Palestine. Fuck Israel.
Well, fuck the Israeli government.
Fuck the IDF.
Yeah. Not the people haven't.
And fuck all the Zionists that support it.
Yeah, there are some people that I've got to be honest, since we last talked about it, I've followed the general stuff that's going on, but nowhere near the videos I was seeing, because the more you watch it, the more it feeds it to you. It's just horrific, man. There's only so many kids you can see that are being...
There were two stories from this last week that were utterly, utterly horrendously heartbreaking. Yeah. And I am going to talk about them because we need to talk about them. We need to keep it going. We might not have the same listenership as like in BBC
No, but
Radio or
everyone has a
LBC, but we need to
responsibility.
keep it going. We need to keep the conversation going because all these fucking Israelis playing the victim. I'll tell you now, if you can afford to put an ad up at the Super Bowl where you get to play the victim, you're not the victim. Okay, those
No.
spots are insanely expensive. Kanye West did an ad,
I was going to talk about that.
and I mean, just to
filmed
touch
it on
upon
his
it,
phone,
he
didn't
spent all the money on the slot, so he decided to just film the production money was nowhere. He had no
Yeah.
budget, so he just
Thing
filmed it on his
is,
phone. It's great. I
In
quite liked
terms
it.
of marketing wise,
It's quite good.
It's very clever.
And he just sort of goes, "Yeah, I've got some trainers.
Yeah.
Yeezy.com, man, check it out."
Yeah.
But no, like so there's two particular stories that were absolutely heartbreaking. So there's the story of the 6-year-old girl who made a call to emergency services to say that her car that she was travelling in with her sister and it was either her aunt and uncle or her grandparents was being shot at, and that and that the grandparents and her sister were dead. It's hard to talk about, man, because it's bleak.
Yeah.
So the guards and the authorities, the emergency services, spoke with members of the Israeli government and forces and said, can we greenlight an ambulance going in and helping her and assisting her? And the outcome was that they said, yes, you can send an ambulance in to help her. She'd been shot dead by the time they got there, and they shot the ambulance workers. Yeah. What kind of world are we living in? That's not defence.
No.
That's not defence. And then Israel told the Palestinians to go to Rafah, the city in the south. It's not the biggest city. You've got about 1.4 million people squeezed into a city that's mostly at this point made up of tents.
Yeah.
And they said, go there. That's where you'll be safe because we're going to attack the rest of the...
Mm-hmm.
And Israel told them to go there.
Yeah.
They didn't go of their own volition. They didn't go there. They told them to go there because that's where you'll be safe.
I'm
and
guessing.
then during the Super Bowl, while they were airing ads saying...
We're the victim.
The ads basically, one of the ads was them saying, showing Israeli fathers, men, and as our fathers, and saying all men would love to be watching the Super Bowl today, but not all can because as are hostages, and we're not going to rest till we get them back.
Yeah.
And at the same time, while they're doing that, they are bombing 1.3 million innocent people.
Yeah.
That they told, get there and you'll be safe.
Yeah. Things they've been doing that since it started, haven't they?
Oh, since long before it started. And for all the people saying it started in October, it didn't start in October.
No,
we said before, it's been going on for decades.
Yeah.
But what's really upsetting is that our governments are not only supporting it, they're fucking arming them. They keep giving them the bullets.
I've seen...
And then going, oh, it's really sad that they keep dying. Oh, fucking stop arming them.
Yeah, there's been lots of
I know it's way more complicated, but come on, man.
Of a lot of our
Have a
senior
backbone.
politicians, particularly in the Conservatives, wearing IDF dog tags in Parliament. So, I sort of understand why we're so tied into Israel. Having looked into the history of our role in all of it.
Very much our mess.
Yeah. But why... I don't get why we're just sitting idly by... Because if Russia was doing this to Ukraine...
Well, do you think it's racism? Do you think it's because they're brown people?
Well, no, because I feel like historically, anything in the Middle East, we don't seem to hesitate to...
Not to attack.
Well, exactly.
But that's my point.
We're still carpet bombing
them.
a large amount of the Middle East whilst all this is going on at the same time. So, I mean, maybe that's why we're not, because our crimes over the years and even in recent history aren't great in terms of how much blood is on Britain's hands. So, like, we're not really, and like, how much do we call out our own government for our... I mean, me and you, we do, but
I read
in terms of as a country, how often do we call out our government for its role in killing innocent people around the world? We just don't.
I heard a really interesting interview from a Gazan, I think it was a historian or a Palestinian historian, who's talked about war, and they said that every new war, there are these like defined rules of law.
Yeah.
Or there are meant to be.
Rules of engagement in terms of war.
Every time a rule of war is broken, the next war that is set as a standard that you do not have to follow that law anymore.
Right. Okay.
So they basically saying like the way that women and children are being attacked en masse, the way that hospitals are being attacked en masse, they said that is now going to be the norm for wars going forward. That's going to be seen as okay to do.
I don't know.
That's the trouble with the precedent you said.
I don't know if we will. Like, because even, I don't know, like that wasn't our response when we were dealing with the Nazis. Do you know what I mean? We didn't just...
No, but that's what I'm saying is now it's happened. That's what they're saying is once it's happened once, it will happen again. I think
we wouldn't do that, but like, as I've just said, we do carpet bomb a large portion of the Middle East anyway, and then arm the people doing it in the other areas. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so fucked. But I think at its core, it's more to do with how big a business war is. Do you know what I mean? That's why America and us aren't trying to actually find peace or to force a peace, because we're probably making a lot of money while this is going on.
Well, I mean, this is what's depressing as well. So Biden has been talking to Netanyahu and trying to get him to agree, not necessarily agree to a full ceasefire, but agree to a temporary ceasefire and to agree to hold off on Rafah. And Netanyahu was very much like, no, we're going in and we're fucking taking them all out. And then allegedly in private, he's been seen as being swearing and being very, very annoyed and upset with Netanyahu. And it's like, well, stop arming him.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I'm really sorry for all the dead families as you clip the fucking magazine into the gun. And then he made the mistake of saying, during a press conference, he made the mistake of saying our operation in Rafah.
Yeah.
Rather than the military operation in Rafah.
Yeah. But then, to be fair, Biden's he's
bumbly and he's an old man.
He's not with it now. He misidentified, was it the Mexican president as the Egyptian president recently and shit like that?
Yeah, didn't you get the Hungarian and Turkish?
I saw a clip of him giving an award to Elton John for how much money he's raised for AIDS, and he worded it that he had his arm around him and was like, it's this man's fault that we've raised so much money for AIDS. Like he'd somehow caused the AIDS across the planet. But are we being really naive about how much power our leaders actually have? Because
I've always said that. Look, the whole NATO thing, the whole point of it was a precariously balanced system of powers.
Yeah.
That means that someone's too scared to do anything. Except now, in the last couple of years, because of Russia and because of, Netanyahu's really stepped up the attack on the Palestinians. Yeah. Well, people are doing something, and now it's showing that NATO is like, oh, no one actually ever wanted to do anything. No. And now they're all looking around going, shit, are we going to have to do so? Obviously, a NATO country hasn't been touched yet.
I think
and they're all scared.
I think there is a genuine fear, and it was a question I've got in my notes that, do you think there is a conceivable world where we end up at World War III? Because some quite high up generals, not just from our country, but I think a German general, there's been noises recently about people should be prepared for shit to go south.
I think that would involve us, with all due respect, having a bit of a conscience. I don't think we have a bit of a conscience.
The thing is, I'm not even just in terms of within the Israel situation.
I know they're more worried about war with Russia.
Yeah, but things are pretty fucked at the moment, and we don't hear anywhere near as much about the Ukraine stuff. I hear some stuff saying they're doing really well, but I've read other stuff that says they're actually really struggling, and we're reaching a point where if they don't receive actual support from other nations, there's a good chance they fall. And that basically the discussion being had is there's a pros and cons conversation of will Russia go further than this afterwards? And the general consensus is, they're going to go after countries like Serbia, Slovakia.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? That in his interview with Tucker Carlson,
which I didn't watch.
I haven't seen it. But Putin said, he said, I have no interest in invading Ukraine. Okay, well, you are actually invading Ukraine.
You've done it twice.
He said, and I have no interest in invading Poland. It's I wonder where we've heard that before. I mean, you're literally you're going back 70 years, 80 years till we've heard that exact lie.
Yeah.
So it's worrying. Of course, it's worrying. But
Yeah.
the idea of like an actual world war, is it the Ukraine thing? I think Ukraine are not in a position where they're trying to hold out for victory. They're trying to hold out for a kind of
For the Russians to give up,
Russian
basically.
embarrassment, because Russia were promising this quick and swift and action.
Which, to be fair, everyone expected.
What they're waiting for now is Russia to sort of pull out and go, do you know what? We're not that bothered about it, and obviously they're going to lose something.
Yeah.
They're going to have to concede probably a region, and it might
Most
be the
likely
Donbass region,
because that's the one they want the most, because
like,
it's the richest portion of Ukraine.
But it might be the only conceivable way to
for a
stop the fighting
solution.
and keep everyone safe. As sad as it is, and as much as you don't want to counter it.
How mental does that sound, though? That they're just going to have to give up a portion of their country. Do you know what
no,
I mean?
it is. But when you look historically, these things do get settled.
I think the overall and the end of the road isn't even if Putin dies. Do you know what I mean? Because whoever comes
would help though.
Maybe Russia hasn't been.
If Putin dies, it's going to create a power vacuum.
Yeah, but I mean, I've listened to a lot of stuff about.
He's had such
the
a monopoly.
Politics around the world.
Well, he's had such a.
There's no one with leadership ambitions anywhere in power.
He's had such
Russia.
a monopoly on power that why would you have ambitions? Because he's always going to be. It's just Putin's world, Putin's country.
Yeah.
So when he goes, that's going to create a real interesting period in Russia.
I don't believe out of those ashes will a democracy. The history of Russia tells us that it won't be a democracy. It will be another dictatorship.
The worrying thing says that it might be someone who comes in and goes, Putin failed because he didn't go far enough into the West.
And look, to be honest with
possibility.
You, the thing we're learning in general is that politicians aren't really reading the room in general. Do you know what I mean? So, in our country, the general consensus is we need to continue as things have been for the last. Even Labour, who are claiming that they're going to make things better, have basically said for the first 2 years of being in charge, they're not going to be capable of changing anything. Whereas the actual consensus in the country and in most countries is we need real change, but no one's looking to do it. And I don't know. I don't have any faith that we'll get a better dictator after Putin or one that's less. Because Russia will still have the systemic issues that are part of why they want to invade Ukraine and the surrounding nations. Those will still all exist when Putin's gone. Do you know what I mean? So the next person who comes along is going to have pretty much the same options.
No, but it might be a destabilising thing where
that they're weakened to a point they can't do it.
Yeah.
That's the only
for at
hope.
least a generation they can't act.
Yeah,
because there's too much infighting.
Maybe.
And like I said, long term that might not be a solution, but it would help.
Yeah, for the if he was to die tomorrow, it would probably save Ukraine for at least
a generation. I
reckon
at least
5 or 10 years if they were lucky.
But yeah.
No, I've to be honest with you, it's all quite scary.
Like I said, I think the focus really should be on Israel,
and
it should be on calling them out, and it shouldn't, and all this, because this is the thing that they're playing. I don't even think they're playing it very well anymore. It's the only card they've got, and they were playing it from they were playing it from the start. And at the start, we all kind of went, "Oh yeah, I don't know."
To tiptoe
You're like,
"Oh,
are we being a bit anti?" And now it's like, no, man, killing kids is like calling someone scum for killing women and kids and innocent civilians. And the other thing is, and I've always said, I know I said this from the first episode where we talked about it, and you can go back and listen to this. But all you're going to do is, if anyone does survive, and you're like, well, we finally rooted out Hamas. No, you've just created the next Hamas.
Yeah.
Because you think they're going to be really grateful that you got rid of their vicious overlords. Oh, but in the process, you killed all of their family. Yeah. No, they're going to rise up and they're going to want revenge.
But the problem is, as with Israel, is the same with us in the sense of, for us to solve any of these issues, we need to have a real honest look and discussion at what we've done to get to this point. So for Israel, it would be deconstructing the issues between their people and the religious, whatever it is that they seem to hate about each other at the root of it. That's what you need to look at, and it will require an honest conversation on both sides of the atrocities caused. And it's the same for us in the Middle East. The reason countries in the Middle East hate us to the degree they do is because we've invaded and bombed them for the last however many years, for the last couple of generations at the very least. Like, and even like presidents like Obama that get held up as like the gold standard of this guy was amazing and did incredible things.
Still played his role in.
He dropped more bombs on the Middle East than anyone ever has, before or since. So, like, it's just really disgusting. And like the truth is, we shouldn't be getting as involved with these countries. In this situation, we absolutely should, because atrocities are being committed. And the really sad thing, as we discussed before, was that it's from ostensibly a group of people that have been through exactly the same thing in the past. And yet somehow the people at the top are completely fine with committing the same atrocities. But I can't understand why there's so many people in the media so desperate to defend it, so desperate to not give an honest account of what's going on. That's what I can't.
I can't believe there are so few people calling it out, publicly.
Yeah. I think, in terms of the general public, I think that'll be more like a powerlessness. People will be like, "What can?" I think it's the same as like anything. The people in the general public, well, I can't do anything, can I?
There's lots of marches going on though.
No,
pretty much every week.
Yeah.
Now,
but like, I feel like I was listening to an economist last night who was talking about the economy and how to change things, and he was like, the problem is not enough. In most issues, people aren't vocal enough. We don't like, if you look at France, they want to extend their pension age. They fucking riot. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's in Paris demonstrating and blocking everything up until they back off. We do nothing. We just sit meekly by and accept all the, like. Could you imagine the French going through austerity for 14 years, not demonstrating about any of it? We just sit and take it.
We've said that before, haven't we?
Yeah, and then we hear noises that Labour are basically for 2 years going to continue with austerity, and we're like, okay, yeah, well, what can we do? We'll still vote them in. In general, people need to mobilise more. We need to be more. We need to demand better from our representatives and from ourselves.
And I do consider the Israel thing to be a bit of a key voting issue for me, because I know there's a lot of ways that people play politics that indirectly affect our lives and affect the quality of life and affect life and death. But to be so unwilling to come out and say maybe we should stop shooting kids, I can't.
Or because it's a Jewish person holding the gun.
Like, why would you? I can't vote for anyone that is not willing to come out and say maybe we should not kill kids.
Yeah.
The fact that they're so unwilling to say that, I'm like, that should not be a controversial.
None of the politicians are doing like
that should not be controversial.
It's not coming from anyone in our country.
That should not be a controversial opinion to hold.
It shouldn't. I think unfairly as well, to a degree, the anti-Semitism issues, particularly within Labour, really seems to scare the shit out of Sir Keir Starmer to the point. I think that would probably be the main reason. I'm not saying that's a good enough reason, but no, but I think that's genuinely why Labour have had to be quiet on it, or not support a ceasefire or Palestine. Do you know what I mean? I think that's definitely a massive part of it.
I can't get behind it. I can't get.
No, look, I understand. Like, on a very simple,
like I said, don't
level,
play politics on that.
No, I agree, but I'm just doing the explain rather than the excuse.
Playing politics on the solution, I get, because look, Zionists are never going to want a two-state solution, and there's going to be a fair few Palestinians who don't want a two-state solution. These are two groups of people that see it as their land and they only want it as their land. So playing politics on the solution, I get. But in terms of like the actions, what's happening right now, don't play politics.
No.
Call for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I agree with you. But yeah, I'll probably still have to vote Labour because I just want the Tories out. I'll probably end up being Lib Dem in this area,
can't.
actually.
Yeah, I can't vote for anyone that. I know that sounds daft because I've spoken for a great many years about how I want the Tories out and how I want.
You might have
any
an
step up
easy
is a step
like
up.
myself, in the sense of
It's
going to
be Lib Dem.
Be Lib Dem, so we have a pass.
But it's like I just can't bring myself to vote.
No, I
for
can understand that, mate. I can understand
someone who's willing to not call out the death of children.
And like I said, I've had to stop engaging with it to a degree, just in terms of the videos.
I'm taking a social media break.
That's fair. You
I'm-
say that so often.
No. I did like a week before,
Yeah.
and I'm going to aim for the same sort of thing. Just because the last week and like the simultaneous running of and I enjoyed the Super Bowl. I enjoyed the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I knew you'd watched it because I went to text you the next morning, and on your WhatsApp it said you were last seen at like 4 a.m. the night before. So I was like, oh, you watched this at the time.
Yeah. But the idea of like I said, them running ads and then waiting for the entirety of the American population to be distracted.
Yeah.
To then start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, seeing some of the
I saw a video of, it might be the same ambulance that got blown up. It's truly like that. There was a paediatric ward in a hospital that got blasted, and you saw like literally the rubble in the air.
There's some kids are being sniped, bombing. There isn't an excuse, but you can say you don't know what you're getting when you get sniped.
Yeah.
But when you're snipering,
from it.
when you are actually targeting
children,
you're not just going, do you know what, some kids may be involved. You've seen there's a child and you've actively pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
It's absolutely sickening. And I just wanted to use a little bit of the pod to keep the message going and to keep us talking about it. And like I said, I know I'm going to pull myself back from social media and stuff. Because even like for me, the only things I use it for are like politics and also football. And as a Palace fan, it's pretty bleak as well. Like it's pretty toxic at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird day today.
There's not a lot of good stuff.
And to be honest, we don't really know the full ins and outs.
So
it's pointless, really. All we can say is that we've heard Roy Hodgson is unwell
and has been sacked.
And has potentially been sacked at the same time. But once we know more about that situation, we can talk about it in an educated
I've got this idea as well.
I would just like us to wish
Roy well. It's not something lighter at all when I think about it. No. But just on a bit of a more humorous approach, I've got this idea of Steve Parish sitting with his custom cup of coffee in the hospital bed. Roy comes and he's like, "Listen, Roy," he says, "I want you to get better. I want you to focus on you." He says, "So, you know, you don't have to come in Monday." He's like, "Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it." He's like, yeah. And you know what? Tuesday, Wednesday, you don't have to come in either. And
actually,
like,
do you know what? For the rest of the season, don't worry about it.
Here's the thing, Roy. I don't know how to tell you this, but you don't actually have to come back at all. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm sure I will want to get back. No. Seriously.
It's best you don't.
It's just, you have been you're fired.
See, really, what we should probably do is put him on gardening leave for the rest of the season. Do you know what I mean? Pay him for the rest of the season, get the new guy in, and just move on seamlessly. But yeah, it's not a great look. But I think we need to wait a little bit to know more.
Like I said to you guys earlier as well, I also like the idea that they're like, Roy can't do the conference. He's like, I'm not ill. He's like, yeah, very, very ill. There he is. Look at the pale man. He's so ill.
We've had to call an ambulance.
He's like, I'm fine. I feel great. He's so soldiering on.
Yeah.
But he's so ill.
Brave.
He's so ill.
He's so brave. Just, but so
we will get him taken care of.
Yeah. He'll be fine. Right. Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do it. Shoot. No, maybe shoot's not the right word to say after talking about Israel.
A nice little tiny bit of wholesome thing I saw today. I don't know if you saw it, that they've renamed one of the train lines, the overground lines. Have you seen this?
They've renamed all of them, haven't they?
Have they renamed all of them?
Yeah.
Well, one of the ones they renamed.
So rather than just all being the overground.
Yeah.
They've literally each, so from like, you know, fucking wherever they go from Clacton, or no, don't go from Clacton, that's on Essex, but what's the one they go to in like West something, down to Clapham Junction, down
West
to
Ham.
Richmond, down to Clapham, wherever, you know, West Croydon and all that place, yeah. They're renaming them all specific lines.
Well, one of them's been renamed. The Euston to Watford Junction London Overground running through Wembley has been renamed the Lionesses Line.
Yes.
To celebrate England's famous and historic Euro 22 final win.
Is that the one?
Mayor Sadiq Khan unveiled the sign with former England Farrell Williams earlier today to mark the occasion at time of recording. Just thought it was a lovely little bit of...
no, it's sweet. It's sweet.
And I think it's nice we've done that because it's the first major tournament England have won since 66. When was it?
Yeah, no, it was 66. Yeah. I mean, we've not won...
No, but I couldn't remember if I was getting the year right. Do you know what I mean? I should, as an Englishman, it should be in my soul. Do you know what I mean?
Should be in your soul.
I should have been born with that knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, we've not done very well.
No.
But the Lionesses have. They've won a Euros. They got to the final of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Sadly, couldn't get over the line.
No, but still done better than the men.
Still done better than the men.
And we might keep Gareth Southgate.
He might stay on.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We should get Ash.
Honestly, man.
We should just get Ash to record one little voice note that we can play where
next
where
week.
he's just his disappointment and his anger.
Yeah.
They're summed up in just a short clip.
Ask him to just do a rant about Gareth Southgate and then we'll play it on the pod.
Yeah, just a tiny. I don't think we'll need a lot.
No.
Just a reactionary, quick in the moment. I think that will cover it.
I'm on board with it, but yeah, no, I'm not happy about it.
I'm gonna get Ash's waistcoat for his birthday.
I don't know if Ash would suit a waistcoat.
No, I don't know. But the thing is, I don't know whether he has to wear like a shirt and trousers now that he's at his new job. Well, it's not even that new for him now, is it? He's been there a while, but
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder whether he does.
Maybe. No, I think it's more like he's wearing a jumpsuit, is it? Where you got like
a boiler suit.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the office. Not wearing a boiler suit in the office.
Is he in the office?
He does some office. He does some office work.
He made it out like he was working with his hands.
But I think he could be working is a very strong word given what he's described to me for what he does for some parts of the day. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not going to call him out because I think he does work hard for large parts of the day.
Yeah.
But because
just in case his employers are listening.
He might message us and say this is wrong, but this is my understanding of it at the moment. Bear in mind he's in the first year of his apprenticeship.
Yeah.
But I think there's like the site of the office as a whole runs from 7 till 9 or whatever, so like a full day, but there's like a shift pattern, so there's like 7 till 2 and then 2 till 9, and so because he works like 7 till 4, that last couple of hours is in the changeover period. And I think generally they don't expect him to do anything in that, so he does just kind of have this free time where he just hangs out for a couple of hours and occasionally has to do something. But I'm not saying he doesn't work hard in the first part of the day.
He's absolutely saying you don't work hard.
But he's absolutely told me that the last couple of hours can often be
quite tedious.
Very, very free time, yeah. I don't know what that's celebrating.
Our neighbours were really excited for Ash.
Yeah, they've like every someone gets an hour free to themselves.
Honestly, it's been a day today, hasn't it? Like it's just been a long day, and then the fucking cat, and then
it's been a long week. It's like the last couple of weeks genuinely have been really not easy for me. And not just because of the cat, but there's been a whole series of things that have gone on.
It's just been a series of unfortunate
the reason
events.
We've got, oh my god, Lemony Snicket ain't got shit on me.
No. But you have
them
got
kids,
2 children you're keeping captive, haven't you?
That's a different thing. That's unrelated. That's got nothing to do with these 2 weeks. Again, the
lawyers have told you not to discuss that.
No comment. How much better, by the way, would celebrity interviews be if they did a no comment it?
No, it'd be really boring.
Only for a little bit.
I want to see people go mental and like just dob themselves in it.
I know. I always want to see the Kevin Bridges did the joke, and he's like he wanted to do a chat show. Where he just goes, oh, did you? He's like, and that would be my thing every time they do a thing. They're like, oh yeah, I really had to like lose myself in this role to like find myself in this role. He'd be like, oh did you?
To be fair though, when you listen to 2 actors talk about their process, it can come across.
It's wanky.
Yeah,
it is wanky.
But like look, I guess it's.
So I'll always shout out Laurence Olivier. When he was, I can't remember who he was working with, but he was working with one of them like proper method actors.
Yeah.
And he was directing them, and they were like, really getting into the role and really becoming the thing. And he was like, "You should try acting, my boy. It's much easier."
The thing is, some actors get props for it, and other like Daniel Day-Lewis is fat. Like everyone's like, "Oh, how amazing is Daniel Day-Lewis?" Jared Leto does it, and like people like he's pretentious,
sending raps to people or whatever in the thing.
Yeah, he was doing some dodgy shit, but. People more like I just don't get it. Some people are fine with it. Some people.
I mean, I just listened to Peter Capaldi on Off Menu as well today while I was out for my walk.
Yeah,
and they were saying like, would you ever eat like a live octopus if they said oh for the thing we're gonna get you to eat the thing, and he went fuck that. He said it's acting. He said I'll pretend to eat an octopus.
Yeah,
that's what I'll do. I'll pretend to do things.
I'm not
going to actually do something. And then he started talking about Tom Cruise as well, and he was like, look. I respect the man.
Yeah.
He said he's a lovely guy.
He's fucking mental.
He says, but when I'm watching the film, I don't care that he strapped himself to the side of the plane. I'm just watching the film. He says, I don't care that he's ridden his bike off the side of a mountain.
I disagree slightly with that. I think that is something people enjoy about Tom Cruise movies, is there is a authenticity to a degree.
But I was like, yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
It's just you just act, you just pretend.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
you don't.
Yeah, you don't need to actually.
You don't need to go into the
gladiator
role.
or-
No, you don't need to go into it.
No, I don't need to go to Rome and get in the pits. Do
I
you
mean,
know what
it's like I've started watching 30 Rock,
Yeah.
and there was a scene or an episode where
Is that the Baldwin one?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's great in that, by the way.
I like Alec Baldwin. It's a shame how things have
yeah.
turned out for him.
But there's a scene where one of the
That's
characters
what happens when you shoot people.
is playing Janis Joplin, or like Janet Joplin, depending on whether they can get the movie
Yeah.
rights to her life. And she's like, "I'm going to go method." And she bursts into the room. She's like, "Oh, what's that? What's that big metal bird in the sky?" And they're like, "They had planes in the '60s, Jenna." And then there's a great storyline as well where they fuck with her, but they go, "Oh, you should check out Wikipedia. That's a good way to." And then they just change her Wikipedia to all this like, just to fuck with her.
Yeah.
It's a good fun story.
Nice.
But yeah, I wouldn't go. Would you be a method actor?
Oh, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what my approach to acting would be. Because I've got really bad stage fright, so I don't know how. Maybe method would be the best way to.
It would. It could help with like anxiety.
To genuinely like find a place in myself where I become that person for a
Maybe
bit.
like a half approach.
But I think I'd need training. I'd need someone to help me like find the mechanisms to do it. I think
For each for each role, or do you mean just train once and then you can do it yourself?
I think to get the mechanism, to know where to get
give you
myself,
the tools,
yeah,
and then you can do it yourself for any
a bit
role.
like a dialect coach. Like I watched a video the other night, and I won't be able to do the accent now.
Come on,
no, I won't, because I can't remember what the character was. But he took you step by step on how to like build the voice, and by the end of this like 15-second video, I could do it because I'm all right with some accents, and like so genuinely
That's
I
such
wouldn't.
a shame.
I
I
actually can't remember what the character was now, but he genuinely took you like, so you start, and then he was like, and then he's a bit whimsical, so he starts walking you through the mannerisms, and by the end of it, you genuinely sound like the character if you're doing it properly. So no, acting is something I would have liked to have tried, particularly when I was younger.
It's interesting to hear that you might have a method approach as a way of maybe conquering certain difficulties.
Well, just like trying to logic, because I like to try and think of solutions to things. So I'd be like, I know stage fright would be an issue. Like when we did your roast more than a few years ago now.
Yeah.
I remember rushing through it so quickly, and that was a group of people I know really well and I'm comfortable with, but standing in front of them, quote unquote, performing, it's really difficult.
It is performing. And it's vulnerable because you've written the
like,
material as well, so
my
you're putting
brain's
yourself
like,
out
what's
there.
the solution to that? Well, you'd have to find a way to forget who you are. So method acting is a well-established way of becoming that person. It'd be interesting to know if that's what the root of
method is,
yeah, or at least if that's what it is for some people. Because it is quite interesting listening to actors how many of them actually have stage fright.
anxieties and stuff.
I can't remember. It might have been like a performer. Oh, I'm really bad at my memory at the moment. But they were like,
that's not going to help. You're going to need help with your lines.
Well, yeah, I'd be like
Marlon Brando style, in Apocalypse Now, or whatever it is.
And like, look, I'd have the ego. I'd be like, yeah, you're just going to write it for me, and I'll read it in the moment. I'll be in the moment. Do you know what I mean?
I'll go with it. Yeah, I'll go with it.
What would your acting method be?
Oh man, it would be probably like there's a scene in Family Guy where they're sort of taking the piss out of Ben Affleck, but in a weird way complimenting him, where he's like sitting at home and he's like, "Oh crap, I got to be Henry VIII in 10 minutes." He's like, "Hello, got it," and then he just walks out the door. I feel like
I got to be honest, I can't see you doing a lot of prep for acting.
I think it would be minimal.
I think you would read. I think you'd be someone who's like, all right, I can riff for the script. I just need to know the broad strokes. Do you know what I mean?
I'd very much be. I think my approach really would be like, I don't want to overthink it.
Yeah.
I want to just go in, do it, because acting as well. Like, not to sound too wanky, and like obviously neither of us has had like this amazing wealth of experience with acting.
I've done zero acting.
But acting is
that's not true. I starred as a Russian gangster. In a short film in school.
Do you remember? Did you have a catchphrase?
No.
Yet.
I was Vladimir. That was my name. And
you're there.
The teacher introduced me to this new fit TA as well as Vladimir, the gay Russian gangster, or the camp Russian gangster, because my voice was still fairly high pitched at the time. Like, hello, I am Vladimir.
Hello.
Yeah, I was like meerkat. Do you know what I mean?
Welcome to the Kremlin.
Yeah, exactly.
The meerkats.
Yeah, I was Alexander.
But they say acting is reacting,
Okay.
right? So I would be like, I don't want to overthink it.
Yeah.
I just want to. If me and you were in a scene together, for example, I'd learn my lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I just want to get in there and see how
Feel.
you're playing it,
Yeah.
play it off you, and kind of go from there. And
Would
then
you do a lot
take
of
director's
character
notes.
building? Would you do backstory? Because that's something a lot of actors do when they get a role.
No, do you know why? Because, and I understand it and I get it, and I could see the benefit of it. But to me, I'm acting. If you tell me I've got to turn up in a room and be sad,
I'll turn
up in a room and be sad. You know, I don't need to know that it's because deep down I'm reacting to trauma from when I was 4 years old, from when my mum nearly accidentally drowned me and left me at the pool.
Wow,
And
that was
do you know what I mean?
specific.
Like,
I think we need to have a word with your mum about this.
I don't. Well,
Or your therapist.
I say mum. It was, you know, I don't think she was present at the time. It was more the nanny. But I don't need to know all that.
No.
If you just say, like, you know, we're reacting to something
Yeah.
and I'm not very happy about the response, I'll just not be very happy about it. That's fine by me.
Maybe we need to do a Kevin Smith and just do our own Clerks.
I would love, first of all, I would love to.
Yeah.
And second of all, that I've got to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
Because I could see myself accidentally taking over
I don't necessarily hate
as a
that,
passion
though.
project.
I don't think, like, if I was doing that sort of project, I'm almost like a bit like a hype man. Like, I get seed of someone's idea and then I can run with it. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, that's amazing. Then we can. Blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily see the whole thing in a project, but I can, like, I'm good at joining it all together and, like, being.
But like, I would happily, once we'd had a script,
Yeah.
I would happily storyboard it. I mean, like a really bad version because I can't draw for shit. But actually, so I know what camera angles we want for each shot,
Yeah.
what cuts we want for each shot, for each transition.
It'd have to be a comedy, wouldn't it?
It would have to be a comedy.
I think that'd be the easiest thing to perform.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And particularly if it's budget.
Also, and it's budget, and also in terms of cuts, you can work a lot of comedy out of relatively quick cuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the camera angles, the movement of the camera, because I'd want as well. And this, oh man, this sounds so wanky, but you're in my world now.
Okay.
You've started this.
Yeah.
I'd want the camera to almost be like an extra person, so I'd want the camera to move. I wouldn't want a static camera. Static camera for some shots are
so you
fine.
sort of feel like you're with us or with the performers.
But if a character moves, I want the camera to go with them. I don't want them to move in the frame. I want the
notoriously some of the
frame
most
to
difficult
move.
shots to pull off.
They are, but I think I can do
You
it.
can pull it off.
I think I could do it.
Nothing's more on brand than you saying I can pull off some of the most difficult
Like,
camera
all I need
shots.
to do is I need to just do it once to see how I would do it, and then I
Yeah.
can correct the mistake. And I go, okay, this went wrong, cool, and then we'll do it. Second or third take, I think we're nailing it.
Yeah. That's absolutely fair. I think that's the bit I'd really struggle with is the standing around waiting and...
But I would love to see you come with your method acting. I'd love to see you just like
See,
be
I
a
think
character.
comedy, I'd probably chance not doing method. Do you know what I mean? Like just seeing if I can turn up and
You have in my
play a
approach.
character. But I think I could see myself very quickly being like, oh yeah, that's not going to work.
Thing is, you'd
So-
have to be. The brilliance of it is you'd have to be very clever. You'd have to set it somewhere that you already have access to the set.
Yeah.
You'd have to set it like it's a great idea to set things at night because it's really easy. It's easier to replicate those situations. You cut the you shut the curtains. Maybe you have to buy some blackout material, but that's it. And then you can shoot through the day, through the night.
Yeah.
You've got to think about those things when you've got like that low budget. You do have to think about those things in what you're writing.
Yeah.
I think from the script, you have to be budgeting yourself a little bit.
I might have to watch Clerks, just to get an idea of what he did because I've still not seen it. And I'm a
still not
huge
seen
Kevin
Clerks?
Smith fan. Is it worth watching though? Is it good?
Yeah, I like Clerks.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, that they set it like really early doors, so they say that the shutter doesn't work. So even though they're saying it's set in day, they film through the night,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, the lights all generated inside because the shutter doesn't work. It's like it's like you've got to think about those things. I think.
Yeah. That's clever,
I think we
actually.
could pull it off.
Do you know what? Nothing. It's very on brand for you to be like, yeah, we do it. we can do Clerks.
I don't think we could do our version of Clerks.
Yeah, I think we'd have to start with a short film, like maybe even like some sort of self-contained scene that sort of gives you a hint of these characters and stuff, and then maybe expand from
I'm
there.
thinking some sort of comedy-ish version of something like The Lighthouse, where you just get the thing with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, where you just get a couple of characters or a few characters, and for whatever reason they are trapped in this space together. So it's almost like a play. Everything takes place in these 1 or 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Your characters are all there for a reason. You only need to use 1 or 2 locations, and you just get everything building from these characters being in there. I think that's the kind of thing you need to go with.
Something to think about, isn't it? Think about the situation, the characters. Something to go away and think about, isn't it? I love being creative like that, though.
This is the problem, though. I'm great at the creative stage.
Yeah, but then the actual... Like,
then the work comes.
I'm already thinking, like, fuck, how would you... Like, I'm thinking logistics immediately, and I'm like, fuck, this is going to be difficult.
See, working it out and working out the logistics, I love.
Like, I think we know people, like, getting, like, Alex and Ash in it as well. I think Ash would be brilliant in comedy in terms... Like, but play it...
Straight.
Ash.
Yeah.
I want Ash, like, because... I think his reactions to things sometimes is so casual that it's hilarious. So, and like Alex is just Alex, isn't he? So I think he'd be hilarious. But yeah, we should think of a situational comedy.
I'd like to make on the record.
Yeah.
The production will not be covering travel expenses for any of its actors.
The budget's going to be even less than Clerks.
And Clerks was an expensive film to make.
Yeah.
Like, I know how much Clerks cost.
How much did he spend on it?
He spent $27,000.
Which, in terms of movies, is...
Which was in, like, 1993. So now you're looking at that, you know, you could double that, triple that.
Easy. Yeah. But, yeah. No, it's something to think about, bro. Something to think about.
Get me creative, I'm all in.
Right, fuck, we've done an hour and a half, bro. I think that's a pod.
Yeah, we have.
Right, guys. Socials will be on the screen. I'm going to quickly rattle them out. I'm not going to put Jake on the spot, but they'll be here on the screen. Jake, you sexually gesture for the people on YouTube. You can find us at Facebook at Crossing Swords, on Twitter at Swords Crossing, on Instagram and TikTok at Crossing Swords _podcast, and you can email us.
Even that one got me.
At CrossingSwords19@gmail.com. And if you are listening to this, you can find our YouTube page in the description of every episode. There's a link. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.